it'll come into discussion, and it might be something that you'll pick up that really might make a difference for you. And I'm hoping for that.
Right.
And you know what we're going to be talking about is the link between the gut and the stomach. All right. How come this is not? So, did you ever feel it? You know, discussion. Do you ever feel it like when you're stressed, whatever it is, you feel it in your gut?
Yes.
You ever feel that, Arlene?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Gut-
yeah.
A gut-wrenching experience.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I don't know about that. Oh yeah, probably.
You know, when something really intense happens, oh God, I can't. Butterflies in your gut.
But I know my stomach bothers me when I get stressed. Yeah.
Yeah. So your gut is sensitive to emotions, and we're going to be talking about that connection. So we have approximately 5 pounds of bacteria. 5 pounds of bacteria in our gut. All right, and also known as microbes, and they help us digest food. They protect us from bacterial infection and yeast overgrowth, and they communicate. So these bacteria, actually, there's chemicals that come out of the bacteria that communicate with our nervous system and our immune system.
So you need it.
Oh, yeah. They're essential.
They're good bacteria and bad bacteria.
Right. We're talking about the good ones.
Okay.
So these microbes are killed by antibiotics and other toxins. You guys knew that, I imagine, right?
Yeah.
But you have to take that.
Probiotics.
Probiotics.
Right? The interference of communication due to the loss of these microbes have been linked to anxiety, irritable bowel syndrome, depression, late onset autism, and cancer. So there's a connection. Because anxiety and stress will upset your gut, right? But an
Yep.
unhealthy gut can cause anxiety, stress, tension, and increased sensitivity to pain and food. I don't want to just like read these things. All right. So it goes both ways. Our emotions will affect our gut, and our gut will affect our emotions. And it could become cyclic, causing us to be sick. In chiropractic, we talk about dis-ease. And it's very interesting, disease, dis-ease. But disease comes from dis-ease in the body. Things aren't functioning the way they should. There's too much tension and stress.
Right.
And now, you know, more and more research is pointing to that really being what causes most of the sickness in our body. What happens to breathing? So the nerve, there is what we call the enteric nervous system. There are actually more neurons in your gut than there are in your spinal cord. Right? So you have a whole nervous system in your gut.
Wow.
These major neurotransmitters are in the gut. 95% of the body's serotonin, that's the feel-good chemical, is in your gut. All right, so now we understand how important it is to have a healthy gut. Agreed?
Yeah, now
Yep.
those neurons or whatever, they're not controlled by the brain and the spine. They're controlled by what?
Microbes.
By the gut.
Yeah.
Okay.
These microbes.
Those microbes are the ones that keep telling me to get more ice cream.
That's right. The bad ones. All right?
Yeah.
Because what will happen is that I'm glad you said it, the bad bacteria, and also the candida, like yeast, right?
Is that what causes
fungus
cravings?
will cause cravings. Because they want that stuff to live, and it'll actually create cravings in your body to eat more sugar. Sugar is like the worst freaking thing in the world for your health. So often when there's an instability in the gut and there's not a balance between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria, usually due to antibiotics, we can get a candida, which is a kind of fungus, but there's actually other ones too. And these things, you might have, like, you ever notice, like, your toes are, the nail beds get all screwed up in your hands and your toes. That's from this fungus. But the fungus gets systematic and it's all over your body and it's in your gut. But we might notice it as on the outside as like athlete's foot or jock itch, as I call it. It's linked to autoimmune diseases, allergies, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, digestive disorders, and autism. And that's something they usually see in kids on the spectrum. Almost 100% of the time is that they have these candida problems.
I didn't know that.
All right. So we're fighting candida. Stop sugars and carbs, even fruit. So, one way I deal with candida too, with this fungus stuff also, right? I'll feel my ears get itchy. Have you ever gotten that?
On the inside, yeah.
Your ears get itchy on the inside?
Yeah.
Usually that is from yeast, from the candida. You can feel it in your ears too. If I eat a lot of sugar, or if I drink a beer, forget it. My ears just go nuts.
Oh, wow.
Right? So beer is yeast.
Yeah.
So it totally eats on that, right? Sugars is what it loves, and carbs. So what you do want is probiotics. All right, will fight the candida, and there's very specific ones actually for fighting candida. Fermented foods.
Yeah, they're good for your gut in general.
They're good for your gut in general, right?
Yeah.
Like sauerkraut?
Like sauerkraut.
Yep.
That's good for you?
Oh yeah, but you
Yeah.
have to get it to refrigerated, and it has to be live. It has to have live bacteria. If you get it like in a can, it's dead. There's nothing.
Okay, how about those bags?
I'm not sure, but like Sabaret has those like
Yeah.
bags of sauerkraut.
Yeah, the bags that are in the cooler, those are good, not the can.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
now, like, what about that Bragg's apple cider,
vinegar.
the vinegar?
Right.
With the earth in it. Is that good?
That's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Other thing that's good to fight candida is coconut oil. And if you ever get that itchiness real bad, you could put the coconut oil right on.
Oh, really?
This is called Podioka tea, green tea, onions and garlic. I love that. Rutabaga. I just love that rutabaga. Oh, and oregano oil.
I don't really like rutabaga.
Yeah, but oregano oil, you could get capsules of oregano oil, and that fights the candida.
Hmm.
All right. Reflux. Half the world has freaking reflux. We have babies coming in with reflux.
Really?
All right.
My granddaughter had that when she was born.
Yeah.
And Dr.
Wow.
Lester fixed her so she didn't have to take all this medicine.
Yeah, you don't want to take that medicine. That's so bad for you.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's really caused by not enough acid, not too much. So the food sits in the gut and ferments. So a thing to work with reflux really is enzymes that help you digest the food. What happens as we get older, we have less of these enzymes naturally that digest the food. So you could take enzymes with your meal and help you digest the food. It makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
Now, enzymes don't bother you, but that other stuff does. Like, you know how I got that very.
Right. That's
So-
from not having enough
So I could take
enzyme.
enzymes when I eat, but not take the opposite.
You know, the gastroenterologists, they just go with the, with the medicines. That's all they know. You could try it, see how you feel. Healing reflux. So CMRT, that's the digestive work, the organ work that I do.
Mhm.
All right, digestive enzymes, HCl's hydrochloric acid. So you could get enzymes that have HCl that digest, especially if you're eating a lot of protein like meat. Probiotics, fermented foods, bone broth. Very good for your gut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bentonite is a clay that kind of helps with reflux. The thing with bentonite is that it'll absorb all the nutrients. It's like you had a meal, so you have to eat, I think, 2 hours. Now, there's this other stuff called zinc quercetin, which has no side effects, and that's what they give people in Japan instead of all this other crap that they give people here. And it increases mucosal mucus production in the gut, and it helps line the gut. So that's zinc quercetin. All right, now we're going to talk about SIBO. So I'd say about 15, even more now, almost, it's been a long time, about 15, 16 years ago, I started having, I'd eat, and after I'd eat, I'd feel like horribly bloated. And often it would just wake me up in the middle of the night also. This went on for years and years, and doctors wanted me to take the anti-acid stuff. Nothing helped. And then finally, I talked to a naturopath, and he had me do these different tests, and ended up I had the SIBO, which is small intestine bacterial overgrowth. So what happens with the SIBO is that the bacteria from your large intestines creeps up into your small intestines. And they're not meant to be there. So you have bad bacteria there. And they will flourish with certain kinds of food. And it's really weird, like onions and garlic and avocado. And
Things that are healthy for you.
some of them are really healthy for you, but the way they ferment these bacteria and it causes pain and bloating. Like if I eat any of that stuff, I'm in pain like that.
Well,
All right. There's a diet, it's called the FODMAP, and you could get this chart and it tells you exactly which stuff not to eat. It was like unbelievable to me. I was like, oh my God. It sucks though, because there's all these foods that I really like. But it's
yeah, that's a rough diet because some of the foods you can only eat like a little tiny bit.
right. I don't even bother eating the stuff that,
Yeah.
So you know about the FODMAP diet.
Yeah. Nutritionists tried to put me on it. It's too much trouble.
It's worth it though. And you said, with the Crohn's and IBS, well, they say 60% of the people who have irritable bowel syndrome, it's actually SIBO.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you take a breath test, and then, they do that at the gastroenterologist, and you'll know if you have it or not. But, excuse me. But there are ways to treat it. They have certain antibiotics that they use for it. Didn't work for me. There's certain herbs that work that help me. One of them is berberine.
Mm.
So I think it's worth finding out, at least if you have it, and there are definite ways to treat. So it might really help. It might really help you with your gut.
I think the doctors mentioned it, and I think she's tested for it.
Did you do the breath test though?
I have done at least one. Yeah.
A breath test?
Yeah.
Oh, you have done that. So you go
Yeah.
there, and every 20 minutes you have to blow into a bag.
Yep.
And it didn't come up positive. Huh?
No.
All right, so then you probably don't have it. Never mind.
No. No, that would be easier.
Yeah. You might want to do it again. Or, look at the FODMAP diet and notice if you eat those certain things, if they do irritate you.
It's not that simple though. I can eat something today and it be fine, and next week I eat it and it's not fine.
Yeah, I get the same thing. So you might want to do the breath test again. So the vagus nerve is like the telephone line between your gut and your brain. When your gut gets upset, it sends messages through the vagus nerve to the brain and upsets your brain, and then it goes the other way around too. And I'm going to really start checking that on you, Arlene, to make sure that your vagus nerve is clear all the time.
Okay.
So there's certain adjustments that we do to clear that vagus nerve. All right. Now, when there are cranial subluxations too, and just subluxations of C1 and C2, that is going to cause vagus nerve interference, and the messages from your brain and your gut get all screwed up. Right? So the adjustments, can really make a difference with that.
So this is why my gut and especially my adrenals are so challenging to keep balanced, because my injuries were the cervical.
Right.
And to the vagus nerve centers.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I always adjust your vagus nerve, Davida.
I think you do for a long time now. Yeah.
And Arlene, I'll check that on you, and I'll check the vagus nerve on you.
Well, this probably isn't about this thing here, but when you think about the technique, when people will lean forward, and they're going to get that subluxation there.
That's going to affect the vagus
That's
nerve.
going to affect everything from your gut to your brain to everything.
Oh,
So your whole body just.
yeah.
I can't understand what she said.
She said that, we're talking about people's posture and how they sit in the computer for hours and hours and texting, how it affects their upper cervicals, and then how it affects everything else. Yeah, I saw you come in, and then I didn't see you for some reason. This Zoom sometimes. So I hope you all learned something from this. I hope you got something from this. And next week, we're going to be actually teaching meditation.
Cool.
Which is an awesome workshop. All right. And if you want to share the link with a friend, if you know of anybody you think would be helped with this, we'll be putting this on the Leicester Chiropractic YouTube channel tomorrow.
Cool.
Cool.
Right? So love you guys. Have a good night, and we will see you later.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you, Arlen.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Thanks. Good to see you too. Bye.